You know what I'm saying? Let's make music that's gonna move people, that's gonna be daring and bold. Right. Let's do something that radio might not play. Let's do something that we really feel in our hearts is really saying something to our people. Right. Be talented.
The Trevor Jackson Podcast.
This week I seen y'all in the uproar because no hip-hop songs is on Billboard. But to me, that says more about Billboard than it does about hip-hop. Because this year has been one of the best years in the last decade for music. We've had music from the OGs, Raekwon the Chef, Ghostface Killer. The Clips just dropped a classic hip-hop album fully produced by Pharrell and performed at the Vatican. Let's give these boys, these OGs, a round of applause, nigga. Slick Rick dropped the album. Nas has complimented us with a multitude of verses. And you had decent albums from the young boys. Thug put out a quality album since he's been released from jail, the Fulton County Jail, even though he has allegations of smut on his name. Gunna released the album that was decent, even though he has allegations. Well, you know, yes, ma'am, that ain't no allegation. Lil Baby, he came out. Lil Wayne dropped the Carter. You know, hip-hop has had a phenomenal year when it comes to music. But to me, you know, the media and people that's in the entertainment industry and on YouTube, on their platforms, is too focused on the criminality of the culture. They too focused on the snitching and the crimes in the court and all of that type of stuff. They ain't focused on the quality of music because they ain't artists. Let me get into this article, man. Real talk. I just want to read this article. This is according to people.com. I didn't even want to read Billboard's article that they released because I don't even want to give them their platform no shine, to be honest with you. No rap songs in the top 40 for the first time in 35 years. Kendrick Lamar and SZA's Luther exited Billboard's Hot 100. Let's be honest. You know, that song was a dope song. But that wasn't no classic record, no song that's supposed to have been on Billboard for no 50 weeks or no 40 weeks or nothing like that. That lets you know that, you know, an investment was put into that song. To be honest with you, I'm not hating on Kendrick. I think Kendrick is a GOAT. One of the GOATs. One of the greatest when it comes to creativity. But that song, man, somebody invested the money in it and put it on a pedestal. You know, we got to start celebrating the artists who do it independently. Like we just was shown from the verses with Master P. You know, Tech Nine do it independently. Young Dolph did it independently. Gucci Man, the people that do it independently because they don't need the funding from these major labels to put them on Billboard. So let me read this article. The 35-year streak of rap songs charting on Billboard Hot 100 has come to an end. Billboard announced on Wednesday, October the 29th, that Kendrick Lamar's song Luther featuring SZA has been removed from their chart tracker following a rule change. So they changed the rules. That's why it ain't there no more. If they didn't alter something, then hip-hop will still be on the charts. Previously, Billboard removed songs that slipped below number 25 after 25 weeks or number 50 after 20 weeks. Now, Billboard will remove songs given the following parameters of chart descent. Below number 5 after 78 weeks, number 10 after 52 weeks, number 25 after 26 weeks, and number 50 after 20 weeks. Luther finished at number 38 in its final week, but failed to reach number 25 after 26 weeks on the charts, resulting in its removal per the new guidelines. So new guidelines got this record removed. The news comes after a critically successful year for Lamar, 38 years old. The album that features Luther, GNX, made history this summer as the longest running #1 album on the Billboard Top Rap Albums charts. Furthermore, has headlined the 2025 Super Bowl halftime show and won a Grammy in all 5 categories he was nominated for. Meanwhile, every track from Taylor Swift's massively successful recent album release, The Life of a Showgirl, appears on the chart. See, you know, she got 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. How many of her records that she got? And it's on the chart. Then that means you only got 35 spaces left. You know, pop music is always the music that's invested in the most is going to be the music that's on the charts. You know, it don't mean that it's the hottest. It don't mean that that's what you gravitating to. It don't mean that that's what you listening to. It don't mean that the music that's not on the charts is trash. Other pop stars, including Justin Bieber, Olivia Dean, and Alex Warren, whose single Ordinary had spent 37 weeks on the chart, also maintain strongholds, despite the absence of Rap High on the chart. There are lower ranking tracks that could make a comeback in the top 40. October the 25th, Hot 100 featured Young Boy Never Broke Again's Shot Calling at number 44. Plus Cardi B's Safe featuring Kalani and Big X The Plug Hell at Night with Ella Lange and Nas 48 and 49 respectively. You know, Cardi B, let me say something. No disrespect to Cardi B. A lot of people was feeling that album, was telling me that she got some decent records on there though. She's spitting some decent bars. She's killing some people, you know, on tracks and the rap beef and all of that old type of stuff though. You know, I don't like the fact that that the culture expects beef to put us in position to be able to top the charts. I feel like it just should take good music, just great music. You know, it's people who have reached the Billboard charts independently before. Cardi B's album, to me, on my channel, I do reactions to everything that's hot. Everything that's piping hot. I ain't do a reaction to her album because it was garbage. You know, I ain't, you know, women selling themselves and talking nasty about individuals and all of this whole type of stuff. I ain't promoting that on my channel. I felt like her album was hot garbage. Real talk. But, you know, I want to play a clip of Ice Cube talking about the Billboard charts. You know, I think this was a couple of years ago because they had put a list out in 2023 about the Billboard charts. So Ice Cube had this to say about Billboard.
Get your thoughts on Billboard just put out their top 50 rappers, and I know it's totally Billboard.
I don't fuck with Billboard or the editor.
I know it's totally subjective, but they put you at 18. How does that sit with you? Is that good or bad, or what do you think about that?
Billboard ain't hip hop, so their opinion don't matter.
Right.
So who gives a fuck?
I mean, I agree with that. Everyone from Mount Westmore made it except for Too Short, man. Is that a bit of a snub to leave him off the list, man, when he's such a legend?
Yeah, it is. You know what I mean? It's an irrelevant list. You know what I mean? It's like assholes. You know what I mean? Everybody got one and they all stink. So there it is.
You pay attention to any of these lists ever, or everyone is just like next?
No.
It's just
I got my own list.
Yeah. You're number one of that list?
Of course. But I could dig it. Everybody got an opinion.
Yeah.
Cool with it.
Just like what Ice Cube just said, you know, Billboard's list is just bullshit. When they put them top 50 lists out, top 10 rap albums, them people are speaking about the culture that's not of the culture, that's not in the streets, that's not in the Chevys or the Challengers or in the Hellcats or whatever, riding around listening to the music and knowing what's going on in the culture. They just not them people. You know, when hip hop, the culture, first got on Billboard, think about the artists that hit the charts. The first artist to hit Billboard was Biz Markie. Then you got MC Hammer. He a real nigga though. I salute to MC Hammer. Let me give him a round of applause. MC Hammer a real one, but you know, the type of music he was making, we wasn't gravitating to that. I wasn't wearing them baggy ass pants running around there dancing and all of that. Salute to Oakland too, because Oakland don't get the credit it deserves in the culture with Shock G, you know, Mac Dre, a lot of individuals, Too Short, Vallejo, E40, you know, all of them boys up that way. Salute to the Bay Area. Real talk. Tupac, you know, they created some of that funk. MC, I think it's Bleed or Breed or one of them boys up there. Salute to them boys in Oakland. You know, but MC Hammer, he was hitting the charts. Vanilla Ice. That wasn't the music that we was gravitating to. Even when you think about the people that is hitting the charts today. You know, the Travis Scotts. You know, Drake, Cole, Kendrick. They ain't released nothing in 2025. None of them boys has released a project. So the biggest artist in the culture that is getting the investments from the major labels and the people that the Ashkenazis, the Jewish individuals that own these record labels and all of that, the artists that they investing in, they ain't dropped nothing. You know, so the charts is hurting. That beef actually hurted music charting. But what that beef did was allow for lyricists to be able to drop records. You know, that's why Nas is doing what he's doing with Mass Appeal and bringing those artists out that actually had something to say. Mobb Deep with that classic album they just released, posthumous album, and we listening to Prodigy and Havoc killing shit like how they normally do. That's a classic album. You know, if it wasn't for that beef with Kendrick Lamar and Drake, then we probably wouldn't be getting these albums, and they probably wouldn't be highlighted in the culture, these albums with this lyrical content. You know, it probably would still be the sing-songy records, the Drake type records, the melodic type music, because that's not popping no more. It's a change it's always been a change in the music, in the swag, in the style. I remember when the Migos came with that rapid flow, with those ad-libs and all of that, that was popping for a while. You know, when Twister came with the fast rap, that was popping for a while. Biggie even tried to imitate it. You know what I'm saying? With Bone Thugs and Harmony and all of that. Cadences switch up. You know, style switch up. That's the transformation period that we're in hip hop. Lyricism, removing the melodic type sound and all of that is just it's in a different place. So, you know, I got another clip I want to play. I'm gonna continue to read the article and everything though, but I got another clip I want to play, and this happened during COVID. You know, I'm not a advocate for this person. I don't, you know, I never even really listened to his music. But at one point in time, he was the hottest artist in the world. And I just want to play what he had to say about Billboard also.
So listen, I want the world to know that Billboard is a lie. You can buy number ones on Billboard. I want that to register in your head. You can buy number ones on Billboard. Now let me tell you what happened. We was having an ongoing investigation just now. Silvio from Billboard, right? There's like probably 5 or 6 of them that come up with the charts with Nielsen and everything. Last Thursday, Ariana Was Stuck With You submitted 60,000 units last second. With the investigation, we found this. They purchased half of those things with 6 credit cards. When we asked where was those 6 credit cards linked to, Billboard said we can't disclose that information. Understand this. They bought 30,000 and so units with 6 credit cards. 6 credit cards. Now, again, you're going to enjoy your number one. Explain how you buy 30,000 with 6 credit cards, right? Now, let me explain to you something. They don't want, Billboard doesn't want no one to know this. Now I understand why Jay-Z and Nicki Minaj say Billboard, like we used to look up to number one, to Billboard, but now it's like we know you can, it's all manipulated, right? It's all fabricated. You can buy number ones. This is what these artists do, right? And it's not fair. I want you to see this. Gooba streamed 50 million streams, and this is what they're counting only, 50 million streams, right? They only counted, look what Billboard counts. They only counted 31 million. Billboard illegally disqualified 20 million streams so it can drop down and the people who bought the number one, which was Stuck With You, can go to number one. Look at this. 31 million, which places us at 38 points. When in fifth place, you were stuck at 32 points. 6 credit cards buys you 36 credit. Listen, you can buy number ones on Billboard. I'm letting you know.
Enough for Tekashi 6ix9ine. I never thought I would use content from Tekashi 6ix9ine to prove a point. But at the end of the day, you know, Young Thug even said it in an interview recently. Gunna wasn't number one over The Weeknd. The Weeknd last album, right? He performed at the Super Bowl and released the album, and Gunna went number one over the person who performed at the Super Bowl. Because Young Thug said that he purchased streams so he could be number one over The Weeknd. It's a dirty game. It's been a dirty game with radio play, payola. This is no different than the streets. People saying that hip hop isn't, you know, relevant no more because nobody is on the charts. Billboard isn't the standard. We didn't listen to rap music because it was on Billboard. You a fuck nigga if you are the individual who is listening to rap music based upon the numbers that it's doing. You come up in the DJ Academics era where he do the weekly sales, and you lame if you ain't doing 50,000, 100,000. If the shit hot is hot. But a lot of people don't do that because they're followers. I never wanted to be a follower. I always wanted to lead. You know, I always knew what I was doing and what I was creating was hot. I feel that way about this podcast that I'm doing and I'm creating. It's hotter than fish grease. But, you know, I may not want to invest $1 million in an episode. I may not want to invest $100,000 into pushing me into the algorithm because it's all about money. You know, America is all about money. We see what's going on with the government shutdown. It's all about money. This music thing is all about money. If it ain't money involved, hip hop ain't dead, dog. Real talk. I'm getting ready to read this tweet from the hottest producer in the game right now. You know, he said, no rap in the top 40 has nothing to do with the music being bad or good. That's from The Alchemist now. You know, The Alchemist won a BET award for Producer of the Year. And I feel like he should win a Grammy for Hip Hop Producer of the Year this year because of what he contributed to Mobb Deep album, Freddie Gibbs album. He just dropped the album with Hit Boy, the buddy who produced those 6 albums for Nas the few years back. You know, him and Hit Boy collaborated and created an album together. And he is just doing a lot of things in the culture. And it may be something that you're not even resonating with, or you may not even know that's going on, because you ain't tapped in like the way people that really appreciate the culture is tapped in. But he just said no rap in top 40 has nothing to do with the music being bad or good, because the music is good. The music is really good, to be honest. Let me finish off this article. The lack of rap songs in the top 100 is the latest sign of a recent dip in rap's commercial dominance. Billboard suggests since hip-hop hit a market peak in 2020, it's been a slow decline ever since, the outlet reports. On October 2020 charts, there were 16 rap songs in the top 40, with half the number for the equivalent week in 2023. The last time no rap songs lingered in the top 40 slots was the first week of February in 1990, when Biz Marquis's Just a Friend had just climbed to number 41. The next week, it jumped to number 29. You know, we off this, man. Real talk, we off that article. I feel like, you know, Billboard doesn't justify what's hot and what's not hot. Just to be honest with y'all. Real talk. I'm off that topic. Let's switch the topic up, though. It was a clip that went viral this week that was released in 2020 on Clubhouse of Jay-Z talking about verses. I feel like somebody put this clip back out because of the Cash Money and the No Limit verses, and they want to get verses back into the limelight. And I feel like verses is a good thing for the culture also. But I want to talk about Jay-Z in a versus battle.
Hove his flowers on a versus stage.
Man, ain't nobody can stand on that stage with me. I need this. I ain't gonna lie. No disrespect. Everyone's amazing and done what they done. No one can stand on that stage with me. I'm just telling you guys the real. There's not a shot. There's not a chance in hell that anyone can stand on that stage with me for I don't know how long it is. 2 hours, 1 hour, 2 hours.
Right.
Look,
You got to stand in front of the Grammy Family Freestyle Live. No one's ever even seen me perform that. Like you got to stand in front of that. That ain't gonna never happen, man. Let's move on from verses and this.
I told the La Familia, the Jackson boys. I was texting back and forth with the Jackson boys last night about baseball and the Vols and Oklahoma football game, and I was saying, if Hove pull out, show you how to do this, son. If Hove pull out the Grammy Family Freestyle, if he pull out a few of them freestyles, that's what Kiss did to the Dipset when he killed the Dipset. He performed the freestyles. Them freestyles came out because people never seen that before. If he do his Hot 97 freestyle, he do the Grammy Family Freestyle, show you how to do that, son, and that you don't know what you do. It's a problem. It's a problem. But I'm going to tell y'all something, though. It's people in the culture that I feel like can compete with Jay-Z. But the ones that really can compete with Jay-Z ain't alive no more. DMX is a problem for Hove. 20 songs, it'll get a little hectic for DMX because 20 is a lot. 10 songs, it'll be a problem for Hove. 12 songs, it'll be a problem for Hove. But 20, Hove got DMX. Tupac, Biggie, Hove got a problem. He got a problem with Biggie and Pac. Because Biggie with them freestyles. And Hove mimicked a lot of Biggie's style and his bars and stuff. I don't see him being able to do a versus with Big, but these are the people that's dead and gone. Let's talk about the people that's still alive. Nas, my favorite rapper. Man, I hope my channel has grown for talking about something that I'm passionate about, and it's my favorite artist. I'm not a fan of nobody. I feel like the person that I gravitate to the most is Pimp C. Nas is the best ever. But I want to say something. Jay-Z's aura of his financial status, certain things that he said on Can I Live and the Reasonable Doubt album, he pulled that out that show you how to do this song. And some of them songs that he has, man, it's a problem. It's really a problem. Some of the verses, I don't see nobody competing with Jay-Z. But what I want to say, Kanye West. The aura would mess with Kanye West because his aura is gone from all of this crashing out on this interview with academics with the black KKK suits on and shit. That I don't know, Kanye West, he lost me with that. He lost me with all this whining and crying and this emotional type shit. But his catalog, My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, to Pablo, to, Graduations, 808s and Heartbreaks, and College Dropout. Those albums, he got one of the best catalogs of all time, Kanye West. Even him doing the collaboration with Jay-Z. some of the best production and beats and songs that Jay-Z ever created in his life. The Throne. Watch The Throne. That would be a great versus. Another versus that will be a problem for Hove. But you know, I really don't want to say this, but I have to say this. It's Eminem. I was one of those people that was hating on Eminem, and I can admit to it. I was a player hater. I couldn't relate to that shit. He talking about his mom, his daughter, and, you know, being mentally challenged and ill and coming up on 8 Mile, 7 Mile, wherever he from, and all of that old rhetoric he was spewing that that I don't know what that was. It just wasn't for me. But lyrically, you know, him being able to speak the way he speak and bars and stuff, Eminem might be the best to ever rap, to be honest with you. So that would be interesting to see Jay-Z on the stage with Eminem. That just would be interesting. Now, me being a brother from the South, I want to include somebody from the South. I can't include Andre 3000 because Andre 3000 don't have enough material. Even though he has a lot of verses that's better than Jay-Z verses, he don't have enough material. So who I could see competing with Jay-Z, but they would lose based upon aura, is Future and T.I. Future could compete. He got some songs that, you know, would challenge Jay-Z, the March Madnesses. You know, it may be a generational difference because of the age gap and everything, though. But the songs, the catalog, the amount of high quality content that Future has released, it's a problem. A lot of people would want to say Drake, but Drake lost his aura when he lost to Kendrick Lamar. The way he lost with the lawsuits, you know, with the whining and crying. He just lost his aura. He don't have the aura of the dominant individual no more. Jay-Z would emasculate Drake on the stage. Just being honest with you. In a versus battle, he got a point. He really do got a point. It ain't too many people that could see him. It might not be nobody. The people that could see him ain't here no more. Pop, Big, DMX. Them the only people I could see fading Hove. I want to say Nas. I will have to see it. Real talk. Let's get into this next conversation, though. You know, I want to talk about Turk. You know, I got an article that I want to read for y'all of Young Turk. He didn't show up to the verses. You know, he didn't show up to the verses. Wayne didn't show up to the verses. Let's play BG on the Breakfast Club. Where was Wayne at, dog?
Why wasn't Wayne there? That's the question everybody wants.
I talked to Wayne yesterday, man, and I talked to Wayne the morning before, right? You know what I mean? The morning before the verses, and you know, Shorty wasn't feeling good, man. You know what I mean? So you know, cause he had a concert at Dre's the same night, and he canceled that as well. You know what I mean? And Swiss was, you know, even hurt behind it, right? You know what I mean? Because for real, you know, that's the reason Swiss pulled the trigger on it. You know what I mean? Because Wayne, you know, agreed,
I heard Wayne
right?
orchestrated the whole thing.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, like, come on. I mean, you know, Shorty, you know what I'm saying? Like, Shorty, you know, Shorty, he muscle, right? You know what I'm saying? He got muscle, right? So, but, yeah, man, I think it was, you know, Shorty wasn't feeling good because he definitely was supposed to be there. You know what I mean? So, you know, he told me that, you know, he wasn't feeling good and, you know, he had to go to the hospital or something like that. You know what I mean? So, you know, people be thinking that it was, you know, whatever. But at the end of the day, like I told him, man, we ain't spring chickens no more, man. You know what I mean? So, you know, you got to make sure, man, your health and, you know what I'm saying, in order and, you know, get your rest, man. You've been running 35 years strong.
That's true. You got to prioritize your health. Wayne is one of the biggest artists and one of the best artists that hip hop has ever seen. But, you know, it would have been good for New Orleans to see the camaraderie, to see the unification of all of their greats together on stage. But I don't think nothing would have changed. I think Master P is the most dominant figure in hip hop culture in New Orleans. He may not be the most successful. He is nowhere near close as successful as Slim and Baby or Lil Wayne. He had his run, the 400 M's, when he was selling them CDs like Work, $20 a piece. But Young Money, Cash Money, they hit to another level. But I don't think nothing would have changed if Wayne was there at the Verses. I think No Limit still would have won the Verses. I hope Wayne get his health together because, you know, it shows that his health is deteriorating by him balding in the front with his dreadlocks. You know, he had a seizure a couple of years ago. I hope he's leaving that lean alone and all of that old type of stuff because he got to continue to create and release high quality music and set people up for success, man. He's a figure and a staple in the culture that needs to be here to show people that you can age and continue to be great in the culture. That's what I like about Nas being present right now, is that he's 51 years old and he is highlighting other individuals and putting other individuals in position to be able to create music. I like that about what Nas is doing. And I think Lil Wayne can do that also. But, you know, BG also said something when he was on TMZ as of recently about what has transpired from the Versus battle between No Limit and Cash Money. And, you know, after that Versus battle, Master P went on platforms and talked. Silk the Shocker went on platforms and talked. BG, Juvenile. And I was just excited to see that because I felt like it was a dope thing. Because at one point in time in my life, I looked up to these brothers and, you know, I collaborated with these brothers on records. And, you know, I'm just excited to see if they can further this and further the beneficial aspect of it.
Of course, about Versus.
Okay,
You know,
okay.
do you plan on having any, you know, like cross promotional albums with you and some of the other members?
Oh man, you know, me and Mac got a record coming. You know what I'm saying? Me and Fiend just did a record together. Me and Mia got a record coming. Like
any albums together or just singles?
We got the tour coming. Cash Money, No Limit.
Did you already say this, or is this an exclusive?
Oh, this is exclusive.
No
this
way.
This exclusive.
So I have a question. Is there going to be like another big powerhouse? Well, before it was No Limit and what? Not was it Swiss Beats? Yeah.
Like a Versus style.
No.
You know what I'm saying? Type
you
situation.
guys went on tour years ago, and it was.
Oh yeah, Cash Money Rough Riders. Yeah, facts,
right. So
facts,
can we see something, or like who, or is it just going to be strictly?
It's gonna be Cash Money No Limit. It's gonna be Cash Money No Limit. But you liable to see Swiss pop out. You know what I'm saying, on a Cash Money set or something.
So Cash Money No Limit on tour.
Yeah.
That is
Cash
crazy
Money No Limit
exclusive.
on tour.
So we got to ask you, right? Tell us about some of the, you know, favorite moments from the Verses. I know you guys, you know, Bling Bling. Mm-hmm. How did Bling Bling change your life? And you might have already spoke about this, but what about a trademark? Is there a trademark? And if there isn't, how much money are you missing out on?
I mean, man, I ain't even gonna lie, man. Like, I probably would never have to rap again if I would have trademarked that. You heard me? You know what I mean? But I was young. You know what I'm saying? We was young. You know, we didn't understand, like, you know, what it was gonna be. But, hey, man, it is what it is.
So you're owed millions. I mean, is it too late? I wonder if it's too late. You gotta get a
Salute to BG, man. He's still young, actually, and went to jail for 14 years. That's crazy. You know, Louisiana is a place that I wouldn't want to live in based upon them crimes and stuff that goes on in Louisiana and how they treat individuals when they get locked up. You couldn't pay me to live in Louisiana. But I'm looking forward to seeing if these individuals can come together and create a camaraderie of New Orleans, Louisiana individuals. That's something that, you know, the South gained its relevance from unification. When you think about the collaborations from the artists in Atlanta, the artists in Louisiana, the artists in Texas, featuring on each other's songs and all of that, that's what put the South on the map, and that's what made the South the most powerful region in the culture. The unification. So if Cash Money and No Limit can unify, I would be all for it. Real talk. Let me get into this Turk article because I haven't read this, but Hot New Hip Hop released this. This is according to Hot New Hip Hop. Turk hit with a $12 million lawsuit for allegedly sabotaging Cash Money tour. Somebody sent this to me and said, man, you got to read this, Trev, and put this on a platform, nigga. Let me see what Turk, I watched Turk talk a lot on Beehive TV in Atlanta. He got the Atlanta Falcons jersey on right now. And he, he talks a lot about BG and beef and things on that platform. And I just want to read this. Turk previously accused the Cash Money 30th anniversary tour agency and promoters of unrightfully booting him from the trek. Turk recently exchanged some disses with Birdman over the Cash Money and No Limit verses, adding to long-standing label tension among the two. The Hot Boys and other Cash Money affiliates this developed into a full-on legal battle, according to an exclusive report from All Hip Hop's Grouchy Greg Watkins. Promotion and touring agency Dope Shows Inc. reportedly sued the Hot Boy for $12 million in federal court for allegedly sabotaging the Cash Money Millionaires' 30th anniversary tour. Turk previously sued promoters and agents for allegedly unlawfully booting him from the trek after promising him more money than they were willing to pay him at the end of the day. However, Dope Show's New York complaint on Wednesday accused him and his Y&T Empire company of breaching his contract and sabotaging the tour via his lawsuit. Defamation and threats to folks such as fellow Hot Boy BG. In addition, they also accused the New Orleans rapper of leaking confidential financial information, lying about them not being able to pay artists, and almost wrecking the trek. Desperate to revive his flagging rap career, Turk is attempting to sabotage the tour through childish and petulant antics that he hopes will regain the public's attention. Jeffrey M. Movitt reportedly wrote, legally representing Dope Shows, Turk's publicity stunts are an abject failure, as they have done nothing to advance his career. Rather, through his malicious and misguided actions, Turk has created nothing more than massive legal liability for himself in his lawsuit. I want to speak for a moment. Turk, it comes a time in your life when, a lot of people are going to disagree with me when I say this. But if you really are an artist and you like creating art and you like being with your brothers or whatever, you'll humble yourself. You'll create for free. This thing we do call rap and call culture, we would do it for free. Nobody has to get over on you or whatever, though, but you don't have to hinder the whole. You don't have to agree to it initially, then remove yourself from it when it doesn't suit you for what you're trying to do. I'm not going to read no more of that article. Y'all can go to people.com and go check it out for yourself. Or Hot New Hip Hop. Hot New Hip Hop is where it's at. People.com was no rap songs in the Billboard. But Hot New Hip Hop is where they talk about Turk hit with the $12 million lawsuit. I'm not going to read no more of that because I don't want to speak maliciously on Turk. I don't want to speak maliciously on the Hot Boys, BG, Lil Wayne, Juvenile, Birdman, Slim, Manny Fresh, none of them boys. But at the end of the day, don't wait till your partner dead, man, to resolve the issues. with each other. Just don't wait till your partner's dead. Appreciate y'all for tuning in to my show. Peace, love, plenty, abundance. Make sure you go get you some money, and I'm gone. Chill.
The Trevor Jackson Podcast.